Masculinity is under attack. It's been under attack for decades now. The standard sitcom depicts a bumbling, stupid, often fat husband and his good-looking, smart wife who has to tolerate his antics. It's all good though. No matter how stupid he is, he always comes around and accepts his wife as his moral superior. For some reason, boys have ADD if they're unable to sit still and want to run around and exert energy. You know, the way boys do. Apparently, the solution is to feed them pharmaceuticals, for their own good of course. Men are demonised as rapists and violent criminals, wife beaters who just can't control themselves because something about their maleness makes them evil. Politicians deny individuals the right to defend themselves from violence in one breath, then blame all men for violence in the next. We rightly condemn violence against women, not so much for violence against men. In fact, violence against men is somehow funny, and the men apparently are asking for it or something. Men lose their jobs for nothing more than telling a bad joke. Maleness is toxic masculinity, and boys need to be ashamed of their own nature. In the 90s, the term snag came into vogue, meaning a sensitive, new age guy. The same decade gave us the creepiest of terms, metrosexual, to describe a man who cares just a little bit too much about his looks. It's all designed to make men less masculine and more feminine, to shame men into hating their own nature. Meanwhile, since the 1970s, relentless propaganda tells women they can do anything a man can do, and they can have it all: a career, a family, everything. What the propaganda doesn't mention is that if women do want it all, they'd better have that family while they are still young and capable. The older women get, the harder it is to conceive, and there is no reason you can't start a career in your mid to late 30s. When women put their careers before starting a family, they substantially decrease the chance they will ever have a family. You see, femininity is under attack as well. Men are shamed for their masculinity, and women are encouraged to be more like men. It's no surprise at all that gender relations are strained and the traditional family unit is crumbling. Women are miserable, men disenfranchised, and children are caught in the crossfire. Feminism has a lot to answer for, and the latest evolution of this dying ideology, labelling all men as potential rapists and murderers, is the worst of it. If you were an alien and the only knowledge you had of our culture came from the mainstream media over the last few years, you'd be forgiven for thinking men were essentially good for nothing. The truth is, men built the world around us. Men designed and built the pyramids. Men built the roads. A man invented the light bulb. And men even invented the welfare that feminists live on today. Yes, women were there raising the families, keeping society together and playing a vital role, but what men have achieved is truly impressive. Men built civilization. Without women, there is no next generation. Without men, the next generation starves and dies. So what does it mean to be a man, and what is true masculinity? It's a tough question because there is no one answer. It's complex, and you could go down many a rabbit hole. To answer it, we need to go back thousands of years to a time when humans first evolved. Back then, we didn't have fancy cars, iPhones, or to-your-door food delivery at the touch of a button. We didn't even have farming. Back then, every single day was a fight for survival. There was no time to cry #MeToo or whine about your circumstances, because the moment you did, you were dead. We were hunters and we were gatherers. We were nomadic and lived in abject poverty by every modern standard. This is where our instincts still live, in small nomadic tribes thousands of years ago. Men those days were expected to be tough, protectors of their families, and providers of food and other resources. They were the leaders of the tribe, the shamans, the hunters, the warriors, the explorers. They were the risk takers, inventors, and artists. They were the first and last line of defense against hostile tribes. Men went into the unknown to slay their dragons, steal the treasure, and win their princess. Women selected the best of these men to breed, so sexual selection made men better and better at these tasks. Women also selected men who are kind, generous and caring, men who are loyal to their family and their children especially. Yes, they also bred with horrible men, but mostly this wasn't the case. If it was, most men really would be as bad as feminists claim they are, but they aren't. Masculinity is about strength, confidence, and protecting those who need protecting. It's about sacrificing your own needs for the needs of those dearest to you. It's about doing what is necessary simply because it's necessary, and doing it without complaint because it's his duty. Masculinity is about looking at the world as it is and rejecting falsehood, because when life hangs by a thread, the truth will set you free, and lies mean your family dies. Women evolved to spot snakes. Men evolved to kill them. A man sees liberty as an opportunity to survive, to grow and thrive. A beta sees it as a challenge to his very existence. This is not without merit. True liberty is a threat to the beta male, because it exposes his flaws and lack of competence. He could work hard to fix in himself what he needs fixing, or he could lash out at reality and deny its existence. The former is the path to God, the latter is the path to hell. A man refuses to apologise when he has done no wrong, but does apologise when it's genuinely warranted. A man speaks truthfully, even if it means persecution. A man despises liars and betrayal, because in nature, liars and betrayers get you killed along with your family and your tribe. A man sees reality and says, "Es lo que es." A beta sees reality and tells you it's not reality, because the truth is too hard for him to bear. A man does not rape women, because a man is naturally attractive to women. A man does not beat his wife, because initiating force betrays insecurity, and if confidence is masculine, insecurity is not. Women are naturally loyal to a truly masculine man. This doesn't mean she's his servant or slave. It means she accepts him as the leader of the family. He in turn accepts her as the manager of his household, the carer of his children, and the glue that holds the tribe together. One of the biggest lies of the modern era is that we can twist nature without consequences. Feminism and leftist collectivists in general pretend the laws of nature are non-existent. They teach that human beings are blank slates, ready to be imprinted with morality and direction. This just isn't the case. We are animals, subject to the same biological imperatives as any animal. We need to eat, we need to sleep, we need to reproduce, we need protection, we need our group, and we need our tribe. Our instincts evolved over millions of years. The idea that we can simply wish them out of existence is the height of arrogance. In fact, it's downright idiotic. The collective left are a combination of deluded and stupid, not to mention desperately hungry for power. There is no other explanation for their lies and their attacks on our nature and the truth. Facts and evidence destroyed the left, so the left destroyed facts and evidence. You cannot twist reality to your will. God does not allow it. Nature does not allow it. No matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you pretend, reality always wins. We can ignore reality, but we cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality, as Ayn Rand famously stated. We are now seeing the consequences of ignoring reality. Families are breaking down, society is fragmenting, people are lonely, the state is in huge amounts of debt due to welfarism funded by borrowing against the production of our grandchildren. The state replaced the husband as the primary provider for so many families, and the results are what you would expect. A generation of state brainwashed zombies incapable of seeing the wood for the trees, ironically funded by the violent removal of men's property. You cannot throw men away and expect no consequences. Reality does not work that way. It doesn't matter how hard you try to twist it to suit your agenda. Reality will always reassert itself eventually. The only question is when and the severity of the correction. We need to end the war on masculinity. There is nothing shameful about being a man. No man rapes women. Men protect women from beta rapists, thieves, and murderers. Countless men have died throughout history to protect those they love. The sacrifice must be honoured and celebrated for what it is, not shamed and derided. Men must reassert themselves and refuse to kneel to feminist collectivist pressure. Men need to reassert themselves as leaders. Shamelessly retake their position at the head of society and the family to save it from the ravages of collectivist leftism and feminist destruction. Women only respect men who stand up for themselves. Women are only attracted to men. They are not attracted to weakness, dishonesty, and incompetence. They do not respect males who do not respect themselves, unless they themselves don't respect themselves. Deep down, what women truly desire is a man, a real man. Patriarchy. Patriarchy built civilization. Let's bring it back.